What you do for yourself depends on what you think of yourself. What you think of yourself depends on what you know of yourself, and what you know of yourself depends on what you've been told. Great dawning, grand rising, Cleveland, Ohio. This is 360 Info Network. Now, here's Antonio.
Yes, we got a great day today. The sun is shining. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we better take it for right now because it's subject to change on it. I got it because we had a decent, good program last week. If you missed it, guess what? You missed it. And for those who are interested, I want to put it out there that we are going to have copies of on DVDs. There'll be 2 DVDs, at least 2 DVDs. And the cost is going to be $25. So you can just give me a call, 216-323-6155. I'll slow it up, 216-323-6155. Yes, great show, a lot of good information. In the remote studio, we got my brother, Vince Robinson. What's up, Vince? What's going on?
Well, I'm like you. I'm just looking forward to another beautiful day on the North Coast after all the rain and wind that we had the other day. In the program last week, our brother Wayne Chandler disclosed to us that the polar ice caps have melted significantly. And I think as a result of all this extra moisture in the atmosphere, for some reason, it is headed our direction and manifesting in the luscious green yards that we have now from all that liquid nitrogen falling from the sky. So I won't complain about that. And I have the air conditioner right now, so, we good on the temperature, so we'll be all right.
Like I said, you got to bring your flip-flops and your umbrella, because we just rolling up and down here in Cleveland this year, buddy.
Yes, that's correct. And just want to reflect on what happened last week. We had great presenters. We had great information. It was a wonderful gathering. So kudos to you for staging the event and, playing a role in raising the consciousness of folks in Cleveland. I want to segue into an announcement about an event that will take place on Friday, Friday the 20th at Larchmere Arts. We are going to do a concert with Ken LeGrand of Horns and Things. Had a chance to do a quick rehearsal with him on Wednesday night, and I'm telling you, this brother can play. I'm so looking forward to it, with Rashawn Blake on drums, the rhythm, the keys, the bass that will be coming from the Nord. I'm just so looking forward to it. If you want to go to this concert, you can hit me up on Cash App. THASOULPOET. It's $10 in advance, $15 day of the show, and the show starts at 7 p.m. at Larchmere Arts, 12726 Larchmere Boulevard in the heart of the Larchmere Cultural District. So, with that...
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I want to get... Okay, yes. Oh, I thought, was you throwing the ball back to me?
Well, I was actually going to introduce the guest, but if there's something more that you want to get to, let's roll.
Oh, yeah. That's what just the touch of it. Yeah, remember I said I needed a couple minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. The importance of what we're doing here, the importance of this show, it just brought to my attention, if you haven't been paying attention at all about YouTube and the censoring and the monitoring of information being out there on YouTube, and that's why this show is very, very important, that we keep it on the air, so that's why we need your sponsorship. If you've been paying attention at all about some of the information that's been going out there about people that may be anti-vax and things of that nature, you find it hard pressed right now on YouTube to find any of those doctors or scientists talking about that, any new stuff coming up on YouTube. So it's important for us to sponsor shows like this. For if we're going to do this, we need your help in order to do this, as far as sponsorship is concerned. If you got something to say, if you got a business or something, to keep this show on air, it's very important for us to get our own message out there, because it's probably going to get tighter about censoring and getting good information out there. So it's going to be up to us to have to do it. So give us a call. Like in programs that we had last week, we're going to have to keep that going. and we're going to have to help fund it ourselves. I got to give a shout out to brothers and sisters who stepped up to help put that program on last week. Julian Drake, Marguerite Hinkle, Amani from Meta Kitchen, Sharon Davis, and of course, Dr. Whitaker for helping facilitate that particular situation. We're going to have to step up and do this thing. We're going to hear 360 Info bring back some of the old programs that connected us with you in the community, like our 360 hookups and our 360 hotspot and our community corner. We're going to have to do that and keep this information going on, because one of the strategies of war is always kill off the line of communications so we can control, or so they can control the narrative and snuff out any communication between people or entities they may be in opposition of. So that's why it's important that we must keep the show going. We got to keep the airways going, and we're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to sponsor this situation ourselves. So give me a call, 216-323-6155, 216-323-6155. We're going to have to do this. Everybody can't do everything, but everybody can do something. This is serious times right now, so we're going to have to get it done. I'll be reaching out to several businesses in the community so we can get this thing going and keep these airways open so we can put out our particular narrative so you can get a diverse opinion of information that is out there. So that's what I wanted to say to you guys. Reach out to me. Give me a call if you just want to make a donation, 216-323-6155. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. And thanks for coming out, for everybody who came out.
All right. And to keep that movement flowing and to keep the movement going in terms of the information, we'd like to welcome to the airwaves Marilyn Payne. She's been studying holistic alternative approaches to health, including Eastern and Western healing arts and Chinese medicine philosophy for over 35 years. She's done much research on the mind-body connections and has attended many classes and workshops to explore the influence of the mind on the body. Marilyn is a certified instructor in Chinese Qigong by Master Tianyou Hao, and she has her board certifications as a corporate wellness coach, a holistic health practitioner, and a holistic health advisor. So with all that, let's welcome to 360 Info Network, Marilyn Payne. How you doing, Marilyn?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Yes, well, we're glad to have you. We have just a couple minutes before we take our first break, but just want to check in with you and find out what you've been doing lately in respect to the holistic wellness approach that you've been involved in for so long.
Well, I've been doing, I did some free classes on Zoom with Ease of Spirit Church. I've also done presentations with a sorority, different things like that. And I did a class, Japanese forest bathing, where you just walk through the park. And I'm trying to get this information out there because it's very powerful and it does work.
Okay. With all of the modalities that I just mentioned in your bio, and I see that you are also a Reiki Master Teacher, you're a Qigong Master Teacher, and you offer sound therapy and Polarity Therapy. You've got all these things that you can offer to the public. How can they reach you if they're interested in taking advantage of your services?
I have a page at Facebook that's exploring the energetics of wellness /NRX Qigong, and in there is my contact, my email, energetics of wellness, and my phone number, which is 216-376-0632.
Repeat that number for us again.
216-376-0632.
Okay, and we'll give that number out again before the end of the hour, and I'm going to do my best to write that down so I can share it with the audience via Facebook. You're listening to 360 Info Network right here on AM 1490 WERE with Hamtonio and yours truly, Vince Robinson. Our guest is Marilyn Payne. She is a holistic practitioner, and she's involved in a whole bunch of different modalities that can be a benefit to you So we will welcome you to listen to the rest of the show and find out where you can get in and fit in. We'll be right back with more 360 Info Network right after this. We're back, 360 Info Network here on AM 1490 WERE with Hamtonio and yours truly, Vince Robinson, and our guest, Marilyn Payne. We had quite a conversation during the break. Those who are on Facebook who are watching us right now were privy to it, but I had a conversation with Marilyn earlier this week before we scheduled this broadcast, and I'm just going to jump right into it, Marilyn. I hope you don't mind. Marilyn connected me to awareness of someone that she's connected to in the healing arts community. And she did a podcast and she had a guest on that was talking about scalar energy. And I found it to be quite fascinating in that this scalar energy can be used to promote healing in someone's body, but it's done remotely using quantum physics. And this gentleman, his name is Tom Palladino. He's been studying this for over 50 years, and he has created some type of a process where he can take your photograph and he can put it in a machine. I guess he must have designed it or acquired it from somewhere, but he can put your photograph in the machine and he can promote healing not only of your body, but also your spirit. So I'll just ask you, Marilyn, do you have any awareness of this modality?
Well, no, it's not really the first time that I heard about it because years ago I read articles on which might be the same thing, it might not be. But when you understand that everything is energy and that the body is energy and we're all connected to the field, and there really is like illusion of distance because we're living like in an illusion. So I'm at the point nothing is impossible.
Right.
I agree.
Yes. I mean, you know, when you talk about the illusion, you know, we have holographic technology right now. So, you know, if they had the right equipment or the right technology at their disposal, you know, they could put Michael Jackson in your living room and you could actually watch a performance just like that, you know. And there are those who talk about the fact that, you know, we're all living this holographic experience. So it might not be so far-fetched to go back to Star Trek and get beamed up by Scotty, you know, if they had the right technology at their disposal. You know, we also have conversations about folks being cloned, and, you know, we live in a world in which there's genetic modification of food and plants and all of these kinds of things. So, you know, the possibilities are endless, but also I could see that the technology that Palladino is advocating is probably not going to be embraced by the medical community, particularly the Western medical community, because the Western medical community bases its practice on profit and not the patient. So if you were to use that type of technology to promote healing, it would negate all the profits that they could make from pharmaceuticals and from surgeries and all that other kind of stuff. Because basically, as I understand it, you are harnessing the power of the Creator to affect change in your body, your mind, and your spirit, and to do it. And he said it wasn't electricity. He says that it's another type of energy. But we're going to have to bring him on as a guest and expand and explore this technology, because I'm sure that there are many in the listening audience who would be able to benefit from it. On your part, though, you have a number of things that you are engaged in to create and facilitate healing in the body. So let's just explore some of those things. I know in your dossier you talk about stress relief. So why don't we start with that? Because there are so many of us who experience stress on a daily basis, and it takes its toll. So what can you offer the audience in terms of modalities for stress relief?
Well, you know, one of the biggest problems when you're stressed, you're constricted. And when you're constricted, you really can't breathe. And in Qigong, there are many, many breathing forms. And working to breathe more with intention And with your intention, you're connecting to the field. The unified field that Einstein talked about has over 30 different types of energies in it, like electricity and magnetism. And according to Chinese medicine, if you're deficient in any of these, then you might experience dis-ease. So being able to breathe more, and in that also there is movement, because through movement you stretch the meridians, which are like in the invisible little highways that the energy flows through the body, because the body is electric. And Western medicine or allopathic medicine is just catching up with Eastern philosophy, medicine, and spirituality to validate that the body is electric. They're emitting it. You know, they've been doing this maybe for the past 10 years. And so understanding that your body is electric, as an example, if your heart's not beating correctly, they'll shock your heart trying to get it back on because the electricity is not running through your heart. You know, now I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I don't diagnose, nor do I treat illnesses. But what I can offer is information and some techniques for stress relief, breathing in more. And as you try to breathe in more, you try to breathe with your whole upper body, where your stomach goes out, your sides of your body goes out, the back of your body goes out. You're doing abdominal breathing. And there's so many different breathing forms, like reverse breathing. When you reverse breathe, you pull your stomach in. And then as you exhale, you push it out. And that massages your inner organs. And the whole process of Qigong is to build the life force in your body, because you're born with only so much energy. And through stress, through work, lack of sleep, terrible food and water, you use up that energy. But you can enhance that energy and build that energy with the breath, intention, and with the different movements. Now, Qigong is sort of portrayed as to be similar to Tai Chi. It is similar to Tai Chi, but Qigong is the mother of Tai Chi. Tai Chi more or less came out of that because the life force in Qi is the foundation of Chinese medicine. So having smooth, strong, flowing Qi in the body. And Tai Chi is like a martial arts form and movements. If you practice it long enough, you can respond automatically if you get attacked. Qigong has moving forms as well, like the swimming dragon, the wild goose, the 5 animals. But there's also a more focused style of Qigong, which is used more so in China, but it is used around America with different practitioners, called medical Qigong. And to where practitioners can actually, who have practiced and built their energy, can move the energy in someone else's body, can help it to unblock it, to get it to move smoother. But what you really want to do is learn how to empower yourself. And that's why I'm trying to get this information out in a hurry.
Okay. And not to interrupt, but I just want to make this point. You can use Qigong to have a beneficial impact on your immune system. And right now, we were kind of talking about it at the top of the hour, you know, misinformation, information, and all of that. And we have this modality that's being pushed on us as the solution to the issues that we're having with our respiratory systems. But Qigong is something that you can utilize to strengthen your immune system and strengthen your respiratory system. Would you say that's an adequate assumption?
Yes, I would say it can enhance. You could go to medical.gov, and you can see research the government has done on Qigong. President Clinton put a group together to research alternative holistic medicines to see if they really work. And Qigong is really one of them. There's the QigongInstitute.org, where you can go in there and research Qigong for specific illnesses. There's the National Qigong Association that has a lot of research and information and list of practitioners. So does the
Yeah. Yeah, I think, what you're speaking on as well is kind of connected to like some of the things we talked about in our program we had Saturday. And maybe can you relate too on how being conscious and consciousness as well, how it works with that energy in the body. I practice with, Qigong a little bit, and what they always talked about on how you kind of like consciously, move the energy through your body and, by imagining it going to different parts of your body and healing and doing whatever. But I think first off, for our listeners and people in the West to really get a deep grasp on different Eastern philosophies, we first got to understand what we talked about at the top of the program, energy. Everything is about energy and frequency. So if you understand that, meaning that music, colors, smells, everything gives off energy and frequency. So once you start understanding that, when you start talking about consciousness being, moving energy and meridians and things like that, then it becomes a little bit more sense when you talk about how food gives you energy and the Wu Qi and your natural energy that you was born with. Why you want food that gives off energy to help run this electrical being that we call our body, then things begin to make sense. Because we say those things like, I felt the energy as a person came into the room, or his energy wasn't right, something, I had a funny feeling. Then all those things begin to be conscious, and now you're operating in another field of information because you got intent there. You be thinking about, okay, I'm going to do this in order to do that. So you causing the conscious world to work in your behalf rather than you walking daily oblivious to those things and not using these things in nature around you to your advantage. So walk with some intent and some consciousness on why you want this to happen, and say you want that food to do good things for you. Say you want this energy to do this for you. Say you want your ancestors to do this. Doing things with intent and consciousness.
Sister Marilyn, you talked about Qigong and a practitioner being able to affect someone or a patient or a client or whatever kind of remotely while you're there. But I'm curious, just recalling going to see Hilton Tam back in Asia Plaza a few years back. I think he actually performed Qigong on me. But I'm just curious about the difference between Qigong and Reiki, because it seems as though, and I could be wrong about this, but it seems as though Reiki involves a similar dynamic.
It's similar, but Reiki developed out of Qigong. Qigong has a 5,000-year history in ancient China as the foundation of Chinese medicine. Some people say Reiki is older than that, but it came back to be awakened. I forget the master's name right now that brought it back, like 200 years ago, something like that. But with Qigong, basically, you are connecting to the earth. Most people are earth deficient. They don't spend a lot of time in nature or like barefoot. They talk about walking barefoot on nature, on the grass. But something you have to think about, do you see any weeds? If there's no weeds, they're probably using pesticides. You might not want to do that because you don't want to absorb the pesticides through your feet into your body, because most of the pesticides are very dangerous. But going into nature, spending time into nature, so forth and all like that. But you're connecting to the earth also with your intention. You ground yourself and you send like roots of a tree in the ground. Also with your intention, you reach to the heavens. And this is a technique like called merging heaven and earth. So with your intention, you're sending your energy, your consciousness in the ground as well as up into the sky. And the thing about this is your body's like a battery. Your body is energetic. It's electric. You can feel this. This isn't something that you just have to imagine for the rest of your life. If you practice on a regular basis and get the right techniques and practice, I'd say, with the right people, because there are a lot of people out here teaching classes, whether they're free or paid for, that really haven't gone through a system, as I have studied with Master Tianyou Hao, who was a physicist that worked at Case Western Reserve, teaching Qigong also as an elective to the medical students. But he was a researcher in physics. And so I got the scientific version and thought and theory, as well as the spiritual Eastern philosophy. The two combined was absolutely mind-blowing, you know. So Reiki is like channeling energy through you, which, you know, could be with different planets and different masters. But what I like so much about, you can feel the energy of Reiki as well. But in my opinion, from my own experience, Qigong is much stronger. You are connecting straight to Mother Earth, and you're connecting straight to the universe, to all the planets and stars and to the heavens. And you are tapping into the unified field. And that unified field, as spoken to some, is God itself. So you are channeling the energies of the universe, the energies of God through your body.
Okay.
And that's much more powerful.
I had the good fortune of taking some classes from Dr. James Brown a year before last, when we were able to go to the library and have our meetings and do what we did. And, you know, I got an awareness of the sounds that you use and some of the positions that you assume. And I know we're on radio, and so this is an oral medium versus being a visual medium. But could you give us some kind of an idea of what an actual Qigong session might be comprised of, what it involves? What do you actually do?
Okay, well, I will say Master Hao told us that there were over 36,000 techniques. They have special techniques like for different diseases. But more or less what I work with through our organization, we have 3 molds, which is moving form, which is actually a standing form. It's not moving like Tai Chi or the wild goose. Breathing forms and a quiet form. Through the standing form, which can be, we teach an open form. There is a closed form. An open form, you are exchanging energy with the universe. You stand sort of like a pine tree. Your feet are like shoulders width apart, and your hands are out in front of you like swords, like a sword fingers. And you ground yourself, and you're bringing the energy into your body up through your feet, as well as down through the main channel in your body, which is the middle eye, through the top of your head, which they call the Baihui or your crown, and you take it to your Dantian. Now you have 3 Dantians. These are energy centers and reservoirs. And you bring the energy to your lower Dantian, and with the intention of storing some and releasing the old energy, old emotions, old feelings, old energy out of your body. And that's like the moving form. Also, you're doing a breathing to where you're breathing with your abdomen to try to take in. Now, this chi is not oxygen, okay? It's not blood. It is actual energy, and you have meridians running through your body. And so as you do this, you're cleaning out the meridians. You're building the chi and the life force in your body. You have to be focused. You can't be talking on the phone while you're doing it, or watching TV or playing with the cat. You have to focus your mind on what you're doing. And when I first started in the class, I wasn't feeling anything, and other people in class, they were like, just, oh, I can feel it. I'm totally amazed. Wow. You know, and I'm like, I don't feel nothing. And my instructor, who's the head teacher under Master Hao, she said, was the TV on? I said, yeah. She said, you can't do it with the TV on. You have to really focus your intention to connect to the energy, to bring the energy from the field into your body and flow through your body. Then the breathing forms, there are different breathing forms that you use to relax yourself, to take yourself to a deeper state of relaxation. And as you have built and stored the energy through the moving form, when you get to quiet form, there are different techniques that you relax and release tension. Then you move the energy through your body. Your body has two main channels that they call the microcosmic orbit, that the energy flows up your back and down the front of your body. This takes energy and electricity through your body to all your organs and glands. So you're enhancing the flow of the energy through these two main channels. And so you're sitting there focused on that, and there's a whole lot more exercises that you do, like Big Heaven moves the energy through your whole body. And it helps to energetically detoxify, and build the energy in your body.
Okay. I think there's some of the techniques, too, that Brother Wayne was talking about in dealing with. Are you familiar with Mantak Chia's books and techniques? Yeah, when they talk about the microscopic orbit and placing the tongue in the roof of the mouth to connect that circuit, that orbit, and and I think again, what you're saying too is, like you said, you keep mentioning intentional, and that's when that consciousness comes in about moving that energy throughout the body and in different organs. You got to kind of imagine that happening as you going through your breathing techniques, I believe.
Yes, but let's say if you have high blood pressure, you should keep your tongue on the lower half of your mouth. But if you don't, you put your tongue to the top of your palate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking.
And it is, you might start imagining it at first, but then you're going to feel the energy flowing through you. You're going to feel more energetic. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be less stressful. You're going to actually be in a greater state of being, as lifting your spirit and your consciousness.
Okay. Marilyn, could you talk about breath? Because we've been talking about breathing and so forth and so on, and I just want to get your take on it, because I've heard some folks who are leading a meditation session, for instance, talk about breathing, and, they'll have you breathe in through your nostrils and breathe out through your mouth. But then I've heard other folks, when they talk about meditation, say that you should breathe in and out through your nose. What's the proper way to breathe with respect to that?
Well, I would say this. There's many different modalities out there. You have Ayurveda. You have many different Chinese medicine, different doctors, different philosophies. Almost all indigenous people have a connection to the energy. So there's many different modalities. But like in Qigong, we have a bunch of different breathing forms where you breathe in like through your right nostril, and then you close that off. You might count to the 4, then you breathe out through your left nostril. And then you breathe back in through your left nostril, hold that to the count of 4, and breathe out through your right. Now, when you're breathing out, you probably are breathing out to start off to the count of 6. And over time, you build each one to be a little bit longer. You can, different forms, you breathe it in through your nose or your mouth, but like in yoga, there's different forms of breathing in yoga where you breathe in and then you breathe out your mouth and you holler like a mantra. Ha! So there's so many different ones. I can't say that there's any one in particular that's the right way.
Okay. So, yeah, there are different breathing techniques for sure. And I recall from Dr. Brown's classes that we would breathe, but we would also create certain sounds, and different sounds involve different organs within the body. Could you talk a little bit about the sounds and how they relate to organs?
Yes, there's different masters have different sounds, but Master Chia had the 5 healing sounds, and the 5 healing sounds also involve movements to where you might move your arms up above your head for your heart, and as you exhale out the sound, which is like, you're imagining that you're releasing anger, grief, broken heart things, negative emotions associated with the heart. There's a liver sound where you move similar, but it's like sort of on the opposite, and that sound was to release the anger and the pent-up energy in the liver. And there's sounds for the digestive system, and he has updated that. He has more than one different sound for the stomach, to where you breathe in and you sort of, as you exhale, you are bending over and you put your hands like on your stomach, and you are making these different sounds. Right now, I can't think of what the sound is. And it goes like out of your mouth. There's also the kidney sound. Kidneys are associated with fear. And so there's all these different sounds associated with the organs, and the organs have different partner organs that work with these things. He also has the inner smile, where you smile down within yourself, looking at each organ, each eye. You can look at everything for your bones. And usually when I do this and teach this, we do the inner smile first. Then we go into the healing sounds. Now, the healing sounds have a vibration that is relative to the organ. Every organ has its own vibration, its own healthy vibration.
Okay.
And so
okay,
that's the way you use it.
Okay. Sounds very fascinating. You know, as I hear you speak of these things, it's like, man, I need to take a class with Marilyn, because, you know, this could definitely have a beneficial impact on one's, not only their physical health, but it seems as though you're implying that it also has a benefit to your mental health, and it's your spiritual health as well. So holistic means mind, body, and spirit, all connected through this modality that you speak of. We're going to get more into it when we come back. You're listening to 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERE, and you can also listen to us at newstalkcleveland.com. If you want to see us on the internet, you can go to the Facebook page and check us out. We'll be right back with more 360 Info Network and our guest, Marilyn Payne, right after these messages. We're back, 360 Info Network, with Antonio and Vince Robinson and our guest, Marilyn Payne. You know, we have really interesting conversations during the break. So for those of you who are listening on your radios, you can't hear what we're talking about, but we just had a great conversation about the fact that there's legislation that's being proposed that would require Tai Chi to be taught or administered only by medical doctors, and you got to go through some special process in order to be able to do that, and it might be kind of anti-health, for lack of a better way of putting it. Brother Antonio, you had a question that you wanted to pose to Marilyn as we were going into the break, so if you could.
Yeah, just to see how, and to let our listeners know how relative that maybe different fragrances and colors play a role in helping you get to that level of consciousness that you need to be at in order to absorb all the benefits of Tai Chi and other things like that. So how, and I think I brought it up in my presentation when we, as far as last week, on why does colors and music and smells and fragrances affect the body, and how it can be used to enhance what you're trying to do.
Okay, well, let's just say you're stressed out, okay? Sandalwood, the incense, for some, not for all people, will help you to relax. It's due to the frequency of the smell, and different smells can do that. You can smell some things that will make you nervous. If they were to, I remember reading this in a book, that if they locked somebody in a room that was painted red, they would be insane within 24 hours. Now, that's what the book said. Colors are very influential. Your bottom chakra is red. You know, nobody suggests really that you try to build energy using the color red because it's too strong. So they would say start with orange, okay, and maybe you're breathing in orange to become energized. These different colors are used when you're doing different meditations, when you're doing healing, and different things like that. So there's smells like Night Queen incense. I use that all the time when I was doing balance standing, which is a standing form. And that's what you do in the morning. You do certain techniques in the morning because it builds the energy. You do the quiet form at night, like with sandalwood, to help you relax, get ready to go to bed. So everything has a vibration and a frequency. Every single thing. Colors. Yeah. I prefer going into Walgreens because it's more colorful than CVS. So, colors can influence you as to how you feel, your spirit. You're feeling down. Well, maybe you sort of do breathing with the color yellow. And in some healing modalities, gold is the highest healing color. So, some things like that. Ayurveda, they would tell you your stomach is bothering you, to wrap yellow around your stomach. Different things, modalities in these different cultures use colors and different things like that.
Sister, one quick question. Yeah, I don't know what form or what practice. I know, when I was dealing and dallying with it, some years ago, and occasionally when I wake up, I think about it, where they would say when you wake up to get the energy and the meridians and the blood from, I would tap the body, call it tapping the body, go all the way down to the legs and the inner legs and come up around the buttocks, up and down the arms and things like that. What kind of system or technique is that?
Okay, well, we use a similar technique to that when we get through practicing to make sure, because we have increased the flow of chi through the body, to make sure that it doesn't stop abruptly where you can get a block or pain. So we go to a closing form where you're tapping the body as the chi starts to slow down, because it's actually being inhaled and moved through the body at a faster rate of speed through the technique and the process. So you start to tap your body, and we start with the head, tapping the head, because you have so many meridians running through your head. You don't want a headache. And I will just share one time I was practicing and the phone rang and I answered the phone. This is when I was new. And I had a headache for a week. And then when I went back to meditation, at the center, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, we still.
Okay, because somebody's trying to call me. But anyway, I told Master Hao, I got a serious headache. And I've had a headache all week. And he started working on me. He never touched me. He just moved the energy around me, and the headache was gone like that. Okay? So you want to tap your body, and we have a sequence from the head to the feet. And the meridians run in certain directions. That's why, like, you're tapping down the outside and tapping up the inside of your arm, tapping down the outside of the leg and tapping up the inside of the leg, because that's where your stomach meridians are, just as an example. And you do things like that. Now, there is a technique where it's called tapping that popped out at least 20 years ago. I saw one of the original videos, and this was a psychologist that was using this form of tapping to address different, more so mental issues, like people who were afraid of flying, and they would tap certain acupressure points on the body. So that's out there too. I don't think that's what you're talking about, though.
Well, I can say that what you have shared with us today is absolutely fascinating, and I know that there are probably a lot of folks out there listening that are saying, "Chi, what?" And we just don't we don't necessarily connect, but it's something that we can explore. And I think, if nothing else, if we can get to a place where we just tune out all the distractions that we have and tune into ourselves, as you talked about, grounding, walking barefoot on a place where you don't expect there to be any pesticides to get into your body through the soles of your feet. There are many things that we can do and we can embrace to improve the quality of our health. So one more time, if you want to reach Marilyn Payne and connect with her with these different things that she practices and she's able to teach you, you can give her a call at 376-0632. That's 216-376-0632. We will post her phone number on the 360 Info Network Facebook page, so you'll have access to that as well as the recording of this show today, and you'll be able to listen back to it again and glean whatever you can. Thanks for joining us on 360 Info Network, Marilyn, and we're going to reach out and see if we can't get Tom Palladino on the show so we can explore that scalar energy as well. Thanks to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Any closing comments, Brother Antonio?
Just quickly, we need your help. We need your sponsorship and your donations. You can give me a call, 216-323-6155, and those DVDs will be ready probably by next week.
Okay. Also, just wanted to reiterate the concert that will take place at Larchmere Arts on next Friday night. There's going to be another event on Saturday night. It's going to be a gathering of Black folks who are interested in consciousness, awareness, and the liberation of Black folks in our society. So you want to tune in for that. But the concert with Ken LeGrand, again, I had a great session with him on Wednesday night. We haven't done anything for a couple years, with the pandemic and the lockdown that occurred last year. And part of this year, we were really hampered in terms of being able to share. But, things have opened up to a certain extent, if we want to use that terminology. So we're able to gather and we're able to enjoy the music experience that we're capable of providing and facilitating healing in those who attend our event. So we're really looking forward to that. We'd also like to welcome back Tristan, our engineer. He was missing in action last Saturday, but we're glad to have him back, and we really enjoy working with Tristan. So Tristan, thank you for the fine job that you do with us here at 360 Info Network. Don't forget, we have a Facebook page, so tune into the Facebook page. It's a wealth of information. We go into history and culture on that page, and it's something that is there to edify you. With that being said, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and do all that you can to make today a great day. Peace.
Peace.